Órale. The Vario love oldies, that kind. Órale.
Hey everyone, what is up? It is I, of course, your girl, Miss Crystal Marie from Vario Love Oldies, and you're tuning into the Vario Love Oldie podcast, episode number 7. Anyways, guys, I wanted to say I apologize for yesterday. I know this episode was supposed to be up yesterday, but we were having some audio issues, so we were barely able to post it today. So our apologies for that. We were able to get it resolved, and we're good now. Also, yesterday was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Just know that you are valued and appreciated. And I know yesterday I was thinking about my father. A lot of you guys know that 2 years ago my father passed away, and yesterday I spent a lot of my day just thinking about him and thinking about all our memories. So whether you have your father here, present, or in heaven, just know that, you're not alone. And if you're missing your father because your father is in here, I do hope that you got to spend some time to think about him, and we're still able to enjoy your day the best way you could. If you still have your father here present today, I hope you were able to spend time with him and shower him with a lot of love. But you guys, we just got back from the Pinta's first annual art exhibit, from the Pinta Estilos, sorry. Pinta Estilo's first annual art exhibit. We had such a good time. Liz and her husband Husky did an amazing job, and I literally I felt like I was hangover. I had such a good time. I was very tired, but I was amazed at how well this event was put together. Mostly excited about meeting all of you that came out, stopped by to say hello. I was able to take some pictures with some of you guys, so thank you guys so much for coming out and showing love and support. I truly appreciate you. But I can't wait. I know they're gonna be doing more events, and I can't wait to see everything that Vitestino has lined up for us. And be sure to follow them on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. They're all over social media, so be sure to stay tuned, follow them. That way you are posted on when they have their next event. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into today's interview with none other than Bree.
Hey everybody, what is up? We are back with episode number 7 with none other than Bree. Thank you so much for being here with me today and joining me. I am super excited. And just a quick FYI before I let Bree take over, this is a pre-recorded show, guys, because as we speak this week, we are getting ready for the Pinta Estilo's first annual art exhibit. So I want to make sure that we get this episode ready for you guys, and that way, no excuses. It still gets launched on Sunday. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yes, of course. I'm truly honored. Thank you so much for inviting me to, be on this podcast, as well as you and Liz including me to be a part of the event that's going to be taking place. I really appreciate it.
No, we're super grateful for you. So just a fun fact, guys, I actually met Bree off TikTok. She is heaven sent, and it is so crazy how they were just talking about, Pinta Estilo was talking about that they wanted vinyl spinners, but for whatever reason at that time it couldn't happen. That same day that we were meeting about that is the same day, actually a few hours later, that Bree reached out and she was like, hey, do you have a vinyl spinner? I was like, no, we don't. And she was like, I'm going to come out. And not only is she coming out, she has a team that's coming out. And, thank you so much, Bree. I hope that you know how appreciative, I know I'm appreciative for you. I know Liz and Johnny, they've been raving about, you guys coming out. So I know it's going to be an amazing event. That I do know.
Yes.
And you guys are going to make it, if it's not better, even better than better.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. It's so funny the way that happened because it was actually my day off. And I was just lounging around and I had seen you guys post the event. And it's right down the street from my house. So I go, what are the odds, they have any music? Let me just pop in and see. So that's when I had messaged you like, hey, Crystal, do you have any? And it fell into place perfectly.
It definitely did. Yeah. It's crazy how things happen, it's crazy. But let's go ahead and get into the interview. I'm super excited to get to know you more and have all our listeners get to know you more as a vinyl center. So let's start with, where were you born and raised?
Okay, so I was born at Beverly Hospital in Montebello.
Okay.
Was raised in Whittier, California, baby, where the girls are prettier. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yes. So raised in Whittier. So yeah, most of my upbringing, I was in Whittier.
Wow. And do you have any siblings?
I do. So, on my mom's side, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. I'm the baby. And then on my dad's side, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm also the baby on that side.
Wow. So you're just a baby with both.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. And did you grow up with both of your parents? Like, what was your environment like growing up in your home?
So I only had my mom growing up. My mom was a single mom. So my siblings and I, we grew up very tight. My mom kept us very close together. So that's all I really know is my mom.
Wow. Was she like always working? Like, was she like,
yeah.
I could
Yeah.
assume. How many
Always
kids,
working.
how many kids were living in the home?
So I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. My mom also was a foster parent. So
Wow.
I had.
How did you like that? Like, how was that experience, having like other children that were not like your blood siblings in your home?
Well, the way it happened was, my mom was a single mother and she just had like this big heart, always working. So it was kind of like the party house, because she was always working. So my older siblings would have their friends come over and she got a little familiar, seeing familiar faces. And my brother had this friend, Richard, who would come over all the time. And my mom would mess around like, hey, don't you have a home, But turns out that he really didn't. His dad passed away and his mom was really heavily on drugs in the streets. So he didn't have any guidance.
Yeah.
So that's when my mom told him, you are more than welcome to come over here. And turns out he had a little sister. So that's when my mom took both of them in.
Wow, that's so touching. Like, on top of like dealing with her own, like kids and her own family, like that she would take in 2 other kids. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we had our little 2-bedroom home, but it doesn't matter that there was so many of us kids, it was the fact that that was our home. Like, we made it a home, all of us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in general, right, like I always say, like Luther Vandross says, it's not, a house doesn't make a home, right? Or a house doesn't
girl,
make a home.
seriously.
Yeah. And that's so true. I've seen it a lot of times. It's your family, your unit. What do you mean? And maybe that's what your friend, your brother's friend felt, is just the unity between that, and that alone. You guys were an extension of your mom. Your brother was an extension of your mom. So the fact that he was able to, just bring them in, and you guys were able to love them, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, of course.
That's definitely a beautiful thing. What kind of music? So I know you said you had older siblings throwing parties and your house was party house. So what kind of music did you grow up listening to?
Yeah, so growing up, I would be with my grandma. My mom was a single mom. She deserved to go out and have her fun. She worked hard all day, during the week. By all means, now that I'm older, I understand. Of course, when I was a kid, I'm like, no, I don't want to go to grandma's. But now that I'm older and I have a child myself, I get it. And, so I would be at my grandma's. That lady, Soul Train, all the time. Soul Train. So I love to dance. So I'll be watching little Soul Train videos, picking up on some of the dance moves and dancing in the living room. But growing up, I seen my mom and her friends doing their makeup, getting ready to go out, and always my mom, that's the disco queen right there, girl. Like, if you know my mom, that is the disco queen. Madonna, Janet Jackson, I heard it all. But yes, so I used to get excited as a little girl, seeing them put on their lip liner and Aquanet their hair to go to the club.
How old was your mom at that time, like when you would see her get ready to go out and all that?
About in her early 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Their style was so different back then, huh? Like, it was different, but it's coming back.
It is. And it's so crazy. Like, even pictures of her when she was younger, like, that her hair was always sprayed. That black winged eyeliner, that lip liner. She used to even wear, like, little gloves on her hands sometimes.
Oh.
So as a kid, I would get excited.
Yeah,
I'll be like, man, I can't wait till I get older to do that. And I'm older now, and I'm like, man, I wish I was a kid again.
It's always like that. I always I always tell my son, like, he's like, I can't wait till I'm 18. I'm like, bro, neither because you have no idea. You don't even know what you're saying right now.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. And so you grew up listening to Madonna. Just like, what would your siblings listen to? The same, or what kind of music did they listen to?
So she listened to disco, but one thing, my mom always loved her oldies. Family parties, oldies. I remember being a kid, and that's all that was playing at family parties. And when I was younger, sometimes I'll be like, I don't like that music. Because I was a kid. I didn't understand. I'm like 5. I don't like oldies. I don't want to hear that. I'll be at a family party, and I wake up like in the corner at a family party, sleeping on 2 of those little fold-out chairs, 2 oldies playing in the background. Or like on a random bed, know, and I hear the music in the background. Always oldies. That's where I got my taste in music. Mostly my grandparents, and my mom. My grandparents, my grandma for sure, the Chantels, Martha and the Vandellas, the Ribbons, like, that's the kind of music I grew up listening to, and I cherish it now. I really do. My whole family's from Pico Rivera. My entire family is from Pico Rivera. So my grandma's house was known as, like, the house to hang out at, go listen to oldies, hang out in the backyard. So as a kid, that's what I seen growing up. Always just the oldies blaring. That's all I knew growing up was oldies, oldies, oldies.
Yeah.
And
And so, like, my next question was gonna be, have you always been into oldies? But you haven't, right? When you're a little kid, it's not like you gravitated towards it. When do you feel that you started getting into oldies? Like, at what age?
Well, when I was younger, like, don't get me wrong, I liked the little, what would you call it, like, common oldies. Yeah. I'm your puppet. Like, the little basic, basic common oldies. I liked those. But I want to say when I really started to actually enjoy listening to it, I was in middle school.
Like 7th, 8th grade?
Yeah, I was about, I want to say 6th grade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was young.
Wow. And did you already at that time, because I know that you like collecting like rare soul, not only rare soul but different, genres. Do you feel like that's when you got into like the rare soul, or what do you feel like, hey, there's a different side to just your common oldies?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot. But I feel like in middle school it was more of what I grew up listening to. But as I got a little bit older, 8th grade, almost going into high school, I knew that there was a different taste that I wanted to listen to. Like I knew that there was more than what I was raised with. And
you just had a
lot out
feeling,
there.
or did you hear like a certain song, you're like, okay, wait, there's more?
I just wanted to hear like the different, like, the background music, how there's like your upbeat oldies, and like your underground. I wanted to search, and I searched, and that's when I was probably, oh yeah, definitely.
How old were you?
When I really started to get into underground and, like rare soul, I was probably about a freshman in high school.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was around this age too. And almost like the similar. Go ahead.
Yes. Sorry. I would get so excited finding new music. Family parties. There I was. Oh, let me play this. Let me throw this on. My aunt. Oh man, don't get her started with her oldies. If you play anything else at a party, she's like, what the hell is this? I don't want to hear this. Put on some oldies. So when I started to learn those other genres, I was like, man, I can't wait to throw this on. So I'll put it on, and they'll be like, damn, she knows her music. And it would get me all excited, and I'm all right there like, yeah, I do, because they didn't even know it.
I'm that aunt. The one that always wants to hear oldies at the parties. I'll be like, what is this? You know what?
You're the fun aunt. You're the fun aunt.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what time it is? Switch it up. That's cool. And so you were like a freshman when you started getting into rare soul. So for you, it was more like the chase of, okay, well, what more is out there? Let me, and not only that, but at such a young age, you were already sharing it, like, let me play this for you. Let me play that for you. I think that's like being able to present, something that, I know that feeling that you're talking about. It's like, have you heard of this? And like, where everybody's like, no, I haven't heard of that. What is that? everyone gets all excited. It's such a beautiful feeling, It's almost like you're educating, right? Like, look at this.
Yeah. To this day, I'm that way. I love, like, even being in the car with my boyfriend. He grew up, he's from a car club, so he is to the point where he's like, man, I don't like oldies no more. I heard it every single day of my childhood, and I'm like, couldn't be me, I'll never get tired of hearing them. But sometimes we go back and forth in the car. Okay, you play a song, I play a song. And he'll be like, no, I never heard this one. And I'm like, oh, man, I know you've never heard this one. And it gets me excited. It gets me so excited for some reason.
That's so funny. My husband, he grew up in a car club, like his, since he was a kid. And he's the same way too. I was like, you don't like oldies? Because his dad's an oldie fanatic, right? He loves oldies. Yeah. He's like, not really. He goes, because he's like, I like oldies, but he wasn't one to bubble. He's like, because I heard them so much, in that scene. Everybody had oldies at all the time. My father, so it happens. It happens. When did you get into vinyl?
Well, when I was in middle school, my grandma actually gave me my first record. It was an LP. And I still have it. It was like one of those like top greatest oldies, with all the different songs on there. And like your best hits. So I was like, okay, like this is cool. So I still have it to this day. My grandparents have crates and crates and crates of oldies. My mom, same thing. And they're like very cherishable to them. Like to this day, I still fight with my grandma. Like, come on, grandma, like, let me have some of those. Let me take them over. They're collecting dust. But she does not want to let them go. Wow. It's like very cherishable.
Yeah.
So I would budge and budge. So little by little, she would be giving me some here and there. Okay, you take care of this one. I'll give you another one. So I did just that. I took care of every single one. And I want to say when I really started to collect, I was about a freshman in high school. I had a best friend, and she collected as well. So that was like our little thing to do, like after school. Oh, do you want to go to this record store? Oh, look at this record that I got. And that's how we clicked because we both love music. So about a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I was young.
Wow, that's awesome. And do you remember the first record that you purchased on your own?
Yeah. It was the Chantel. The song The Plea. Yeah, that's my grandma's, like, that is what I was raised listening to, so I just knew that I had to get something like that. Like, that was my first one, and I was all excited. I was, like, all drooling, so happy. I saved up my little lunch money, bought my own record. I was so happy.
Yeah. And after that, it was a wrap. You just started buying and buying. And did you already have did you have like a little turntable back then, or did you just have like one of those?
So we have, like my mom had a little jukebox, and it had a turntable on it. We still actually have it in the garage, but I would play it on there. And when I really started getting into wanting to collect more, which was like about my freshman year of high school, that's when I told my uncle, like, hey, my birthday's coming up. If you decide you want to get me something, this is what I would like. So he got me one of those little, like the little Victrolas, like the little case ones. Yeah, it was one of those. But I didn't care. Like, I still, as long as I could play my vinyl, that's all. You don't care. No, I didn't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I had started with. And, so I had a little briefcase.
Okay, so when did you get serious about like going to start spinning? You had like a little selection, like you had a few records with you, and how did that happen? Like to go and start spinning at events, or how'd you get into that?
So the best friend I had mentioned in high school, she collected, and I'm not too sure if you're familiar with like Santana Soul Radio.
I've heard of them.
Yes, she actually had got invited to go over there and spin, at his home. So she goes, hey, do you want to come with me? And there's going to be a whole bunch of other people, different girls. Somebody's coming from Japan to spin. And I'm like, of course. So when I went with her, I didn't really know what to expect because I was just collecting for me because I enjoyed the music. So I went with her, and it was like a whole different scene. Like just being there and hearing everybody's music and seeing everybody proud to play what they collect and what they have, and hearing it loud like that, it's just a different feeling. Like I literally had chills. It was like nothing I've ever experienced. And after that, I knew right then and there, like, oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap from here.
Yeah, you found your purpose.
To collect more. Yeah. And then little by little is when I would follow the people who went on their show. I would meet little people here and there. I would follow their events. So that's how I kind of started to get familiar with the whole soul scene.
Okay. And do you remember the first time that you were personally invited to go spin? It was at the Santana Soul?
I didn't spin that day, but it was actually at a car show.
Really?
Yeah, and it wasn't too long ago, truthfully. So like I mentioned, I was just collecting for me and playing what I like to hear. So I did not have the actual turntable. I just had the little one that I had mentioned. And I had got invited to spin at a car show. And I'm nervous because I've never touched a turntable in my life. So I'm like freaking out. I'm nervous. I'm sweating on the car ride over there. Like, this is the real deal for me. Like, I was so scared. Yeah. And I'm like, there's going to be all these people. What if I mess up? But so I went to that car show. And I was the first one up. So for me, I was like, heck yeah, barely anybody's here. If I mess up, it's all good. So I went up there and I kind of already knew the basics, put the needle on there. And it looked intimidating, but once I got the hang of it, I was good. So I was just so nervous. And after that first time, I was like, okay, I need to go do this again. I got this. I pat myself on the back and I was like, I need to go find this again. And it became addicting.
So you just been doing events after events and...
Yes.
Wow. I always love seeing girls spin. It's awesome that... And some females have a good collection, I've seen some girls, bust some heavy hitters. I'm like, ooh, girl.
Yeah. And being fairly new, barely coming out, and people think like, oh man, like this girl probably doesn't know this, but I've been, since middle school, and I just never put myself out there.
Yeah. And do you feel like, just being so nervous and everything, like going to do different events, like, did you ever feel like that intimidation, like, okay, these girls have been spinning for a long time, or, these people have been spinning, pushed you, or what encouraged you to say, you know what, I'm going to step out and I'm going to do this? What do you feel encouraged you?
So yes and no, because, I did think like, man, like these girls really know what they're doing. But the way I see it now, it's like there's always room for more collectors and more people to go out there. Right. Like there's no limit on who and how many people, and there's always room for more. The more the better, more different music, and that's where our growth expands, and our growth in music, hearing other people.
Right. Motivated you to say, you know what, regardless of how scared I am, regardless of whatever, I'm going to continue to do this.
Yeah. So seeing people dancing when I was playing music, I was like, I must be doing something right if I have people moving around. Yeah. So, but the way I see it, who cares? If you have one record, if you have two records, who cares? Play those two records. Right. Play those two records. You don't need to go out there and buy a $100 record and buy a $200 record. Go buy the little dollar records. Expand your collection. I actually have a friend who she recently just got into the soul scene, maybe a few months ago. Her family, they're all into it, but she had no records, and I was spinning, and it was like a family party, and she said, hey, do you mind if I play your records? And I'm like, go ahead. I was already done. Go ahead. She played what I didn't. And after that, she goes out and she does her own thing. But I'm telling you, it's just addicting. It's an unexplainable feeling. Like I said earlier, there's always room for more collectors and more
Right.
people to spin.
Exactly.
Like, this soul scene is growing, and it has grown drastically. Like, from what I've seen my freshman year of high school to now, there's so many women who actually are in the soul scene now. And
Right.
there was very little back then.
Right.
There was only a handful of girls.
Well,
And there's
look at
always room.
Look at the team that you have. You have, what, 7 vinyl spinners coming out for the event?
Yeah. Yep. And actually, like, most of those girls who are on the lineup,
Mm-hmm.
I handpicked them because they were there since when I started, like, supporting me since day one. They're inviting me out. Hey, do you want to come spin? And those ladies have been doing this for years. They've been doing this for years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you can, like those people that were in our life in our initial time of growth. I think they play such a big factor in our life overall. Like, for example, for myself, I had Solera 5150 on her second episode. I felt like she was fit for the second episode because actually when Barrio Levodis first started, she was the one, and she was a vinyl spinner at that time. She was very, she was doing her thing already. But to me, it was special because she would repost whenever I posted. She would always show a lot of love. And I never forgot her for that. And it's like you meet people throughout your journey that were there at the beginning. And, it's a beautiful thing that as you grow, you can, bring them in and be like, because you're so appreciative, right? I know I am. I'm sure you are, of the people that are in our life when we're just growing.
Oh, yeah. Arlene is an OG. Actually,
yeah.
I don't personally know her, but she's actually one of the women that I would look up to when I was in high school.
Right.
I'd be like, man, I want to be like that one day. This girl plays some bad music. I used to always just see her and be like, man, that's cool, seeing that? That's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. She definitely is. So when I told her about the podcast, she was like, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's an OG.
I love her. Definitely. And so being a vinyl collector, what has that gotten you into? Like, what have you done? Like, what experiences have you had since you started, like, going to do events and vinyl spinning? Like, what has it gotten you into?
For me, girl, I'm a social butterfly. You can ask anybody. I'm a chatterbox. Like, I will just go on and on. I love making people laugh. Like, that's just my personality. And for me, being, starting to collect and coming out into the soul scene, I loved it because for me, that's like, I get to conversate with people. I get to meet new people, see new faces. It was exciting for me.
Yeah.
So I love going out to different events. I love being in the different environments. It makes me really, like, happy. I love it. I will honestly never get tired of it. I just love the good vibes, the no drama, seeing everybody jam out to what I play and being able to support others. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling to be able to know that whatever you're playing is really impacting somebody, right? Either to dance or put a smile on their face or whatever it is. It's definitely a beautiful thing. So you've done events. Have you been able to travel, to do an event, or are you more local?
I'm more local. Yeah, no traveling yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to manifest that, yes.
Yes.
But, just more local.
Okay, awesome. And, what, I know that there's like fast oldies, slow oldies. What do you most attracted to, like the fast oldies or the slow ones?
I like the slow ones.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'm really into doo-wop. I love doo-wop. And
Really?
Yes. I love doo-wop. But yeah, the slow oldies. For some reason, like, I feel like the slower ones, they speak more. You know, most of the songs that I know, they tell more of a story when it's slower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I love slow, which I learned from the homeboy Mad is that there's a thing as what was it? Deep? Is it deep soul? Deep or deep soul or something? Like it's like those super slow.
Those are like some daggers right there. Like you listen and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like. For me, it's like the slower, the better. Like that's my thing.
And some people are the opposite. Some people might be like, oh, I want to hear it quicker. You know, it's slow. It sounds depressing, but I love it. I love it so much.
I do too. I don't know why. I've just always been attracted more to the slower ones.
Yeah.
But I like some fast ones, but I do know that there's people that don't really care for the slow ones.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Sure. All right. So what this is our last question, but what is the best advice, if any, that you can give to our next generation of upcoming soleros and soleras? Like, you know, for those that are either interested in collecting vinyl or how we mentioned earlier, you know, that have some but are scared to take the next step and reach out to an established, you know, vinyl spinner. What can you tell that generation?
Follow your heart. If that's what you know you want to do it. If you know that's going to make you happy, by all means, do it. Don't be scared to take that next step, because everybody can say that they were at that same spot at one point. Everybody started the same exact way. Everybody was nervous. Everybody was scared. Don't be scared. Take that leap, and you're going to see how far you can go. Message the OGs, message the older heads, message anybody that you know that collects. Don't be scared to ask questions. There's always room. It's never gonna go away. And that's good. That's awesome for me. I love that. The more the merrier.
Yeah, the way I heard it put is you know, it's kinda almost like building a lowrider. You know?
Exactly.
It's almost like building a lowrider. Like there's some that it's gonna take time, right? It's gonna take time, but it's gonna be worth it at the end. And I agree, you know, like Bree said, don't be scared. You know, and especially I feel like vinyl spinners that I've met yet are super nice, and they love to educate. You know, they love to like, oh, like here's this, here's that. You know, they're not you know, like how she said, don't be scared to reach out. And I promise you, they'll embrace you. With whatever.
Yeah, and another thing, save. If I would have known how expensive vinyl was, girl, I would have been saving since kindergarten. I would have been saving money since kindergarten.
Yeah.
Because records are pricey. They can get up there.
They can. They definitely can. I didn't get into collecting vinyl until now. I got into collecting vinyl, and it's so crazy how I remember when I was young, my dad had I want to say he didn't have a lot. He had about 2 crates full of the East Side Story. And I remember because I remember seeing like the lowriders in the front. And I don't know why I feel so dumb. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, and I was cleaning out my dad's room, or maybe a little bit older. But I remember telling him, "Dad, throw these away. We don't even have a vinyl player anymore." Like, you know, like that's so out of style, you know. Which I regret to this day, right? Like, why did I do that? But now, you know, like, are so expensive. I wish I would have saved, you know, those records and saved money, because they're super expensive now, you know.
Yes.
And it goes up. But don't let that intimidate you. No, don't let that intimidate you from, still collecting, right?
Exactly. Don't let it intimidate you at all.
Yeah. Well, we're wrapping it up, but we're at the end of our interview. Do you have anything that you want to say, Bree?
I want to thank you so much for inviting me and, getting to know me a little more and my background when it comes to collecting. I really appreciate you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. Well, guys, that does complete episode number 7. And I'm excited about the event. Are you excited?
Oh, girl, I'm ready. I've been having my records cleaned they're ready to go. They're suited and booted, girl.
I think it's such a beautiful thing, right, that they're doing. Like, I think it's like, I can't wait to see the kids. I can't wait to see the families of those that are incarcerated being there, displaying their family's artwork. And I think for me it was so special because, my dad, he didn't do most of his time like in prison, but he was always either like in a rehab home or, doing time away from my life, right? Because he was always trying to get right. But he would send me artwork. He would send me artwork, and I would keep it. And as a matter of fact, my handwriting. Everybody says I have nice handwriting, but I learned how to write handwriting because I would copy it. I would copy his writing. And that's how I learned how to write. But I think it's such a beautiful thing and can you imagine the kids of I know there's going to be kids there of those that are incarcerated artists just being proud, like, this is my dad's work. This is
that's
my
so
dad.
exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. Well, again, this does conclude episode number 7, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.